Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz. Welcome to episode 109 of the Untapped Podcast. Guys, if this is your first time joining us for the show, first of all, we're thrilled to have you here with us. And thank you for joining us. So, guys, we have 5 main formats of our show. Our first one is Forging Fortitude, and this is what we actually have for you today. Now, in these episodes, we cover the mental side of our brand. We go over our anecdotal experience with things like mindset and mentality, and then we pass on advice to you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, we have physical vitality episodes. Now, in these episodes, we really get to showcase our expertise. In these episodes, we go over everything to do with the gym, nutrition, fitness, diet, supplements. Sometimes we'll cover things like 75 Hard and other fitness programs like that. And then other times, we will take trending topics or ideas or articles that are going on within the fitness industry. We will cover those and give our thoughts and opinions on them.
Beautiful, dude. Great start. By the way, we do have an exciting announcement coming out soon for the physical vitality side of things. So that's very exciting.
Yes, we do.
But guys, our third format is our breaking news format. The breaking news format is a current event-based format. As we go over current articles, current events going on in the world, we discuss them, give our opinions on them, and we do not doom and gloom you the entire time. It's not like, oh, the world's ending, we can't do anything about it. It's not that. We give solutions to those episodes as well. We have a little bit of fun in them just because it's fun to talk about them, and it's nerve-wracking sometimes to talk about those topics too. But guys, our fourth format is our Knights Table format. The Knights Table format is a masculinity-based format. Now, the idea behind those is to encourage masculinity back into our current world and how important that is. Now, keep in mind, I'm 25, Wurtz is 25, Mitch is 23. Because of that reason, we're not coming to you from the top of the mountain as a man, and we never will be. The only man to ever do that was Jesus Christ. Now, onto our fifth format. The fifth format is our guest format. That is when we sit down with somebody that is an entrepreneur, fitness professional, athlete, doctor, like we had on with Mr. Dr. Wyatt Mormon last episode, someone with a great story, and we bring you guys great information. We learn a lot. You learn a lot. It's a nice little symbiotic relationship. Now, our last thing to introduce is our producer and my brother, Mitchell Gabel.
Hey, dudes. What's the word?
Money Mitch.
Hey, bro. Good to hang out with you today.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so we all just got back from a special invite event at the new S2 HQ, which was a ton of fun. We got some Chipotle, so they had catered for us. Very
Best
very
part
nice.
of the whole thing right there.
Best part. Hey, you can't beat free food. Can't beat it. Got to listen to a couple speakers. Supposed to be Andy, but I guess he heard that we were going to be there, and he was like, I can't be smaller, than those guys.
Well, and I can't blame him to a certain point,
Sure.
Like definitely I can't blame him at all.
I can't even keep a straight face.
No, me either, bro. That dude's huge. That dude's massive. I can't even chirp.
Yeah.
And he's incredible, so that, it helps too.
But a lot of good information that we got to learn, got to be a part of a huge group, and then we got to work out in the brand new gym there.
Well, and it jogged some ideas for the episode today too.
Absolutely.
Funny enough. And,
Absolutely.
And for future episodes for that matter. Every time we're around a group of people like that, I mean, it's a great feeling.
There's always things to be learned.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, of course, Brock Wilson, Will Bates, all the names that we talk about all the time.
Dr. Wyatt.
Yeah, Dr. Wyatt, of course.
Yeah.
He actually did the workout with us.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got to put him through a little
I was glad he came over.
Workout,
I was pumped he came over and did the workout. I was like,
he was jumping and running and doing the movements with us. I mean, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
We all looked sick doing the Zercher squats, obviously.
Yeah.
The inside of our elbows aren't going to look sick tomorrow.
No,
but
I'm already hurting from it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zercher squats, by the way, for those of you who don't know, on video, you take your hands and basically put a bar on the inside of your elbow, essentially, and hold the bar.
There.
Yeah, the whole idea is just lower back, anterior core for that matter as well. I mean, it's a great movement. Helps the legs too, but
very tough.
It's tough.
Very, very tough.
You have to build up for sure.
Yeah.
Because the arms were, we only went up to 185.
Yeah, I stayed a little bit lower personally. Yeah.
I mean, again, if you don't train that, it's one of those movements that
I would say that's a pretty high progression of front squats because you're loading the weight on the front of your body.
Yeah.
Now, it's certainly different. Like, it certainly has its differences from front squats. But I would say the easiest way to kind of imagine the progression there to Zerchers would be like from a front squat.
Definitely. And, honestly, I prefer Zerchers to front squats because the fact that of the wrist flexion on Zerchers with barbell, or not Zerchers, front squats. But, Brock made a good point at the workout today. I was talking to him about just movements in general, and And he mentioned the fact that he does it obviously with the safety bar, kind of flipped around on your neck. Like that's so much better.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's a much better way to do front squats because you can actually load it properly. And instead of having to worry about your wrists going back the opposite way. So
I love using the safety bar for things. I mean,
it's a great tool.
I think people are scared to use it because they're scared that people are going to judge them for that. But first of all, it's a heavier bar than normal.
Yep.
Most of them are 60, 65, or 70. So immediately you're doing more weight than the clown next to you. But
that bitch next to you.
But there's just so many uses for it. Again, like you just said, you can load it quite a bit, whether that's for rear foot elevated split squats or squats in general. What does Brock call them? The Hatfield squats.
Yep.
Yes. But anyway, a lot of uses for the safety bars, and I really do enjoy using them.
Well, I'm curious.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm curious to Mitch here, how it felt losing in a race. To Wurtz
he got
here.
Dusted all 3 times.
That's no worries. I was doing more weight than you, so
and
more depth.
See, that's what I was hoping he'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But he underestimated me. Little did he know, like your boy Wurtzy can run a little now.
He was thinking he was racing 265 Wurtz, right?
That's what I'm saying. Fucking
265 Wurtz wouldn't be at the S2 headquarters.
Oompa Loompa running down the turf.
I mean, your 40 had to have been like 7 seconds when you were 265.
I have no idea. I have no idea. Yeah. But I did, in fact, beat Money Mitch in several races.
Well, I mean, you had to make up for the weight. And the searchers too.
Of course.
Yeah. That's how it goes. It's like a trade-off.
You know, I will say this. Other than goblet squats, that's the first time I've squatted in a very, very long time. Yeah. I mostly just do like reverse lunges with kettlebells, split squats, things like that. Like for me personally, it feels the best for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I have nothing against back squats, front squats, Hatfield squats, Zercher squats. Other than goblet squats, I haven't done that type of a squat in a long time.
And I mean, that's a key point there though, too. I mean, it's nothing wrong. You know, if you're like, hey, this isn't a movement, I prefer the reverse lunges. I prefer this. I prefer that. You know, whatever.
For my situation, my goals, like that's what I like right now.
Yeah.
You know, and like, do I have the strength to go up to that? Sure, but on a Zercher, because I don't practice those a ton. Like I got to keep the form where it needs to be. You know what I mean? So
and that's you not trying to be everyone else.
Exactly.
It just so happens.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, let's hop into this Fortitude. Again, like Gabel mentioned earlier, this is kind of inspired by something one of the speakers said today. She was mostly covering social media and things like that. A lot of great information from her.
For sure.
I think Taylor
Frazier.
Yep. Yeah, she works at First Form. Had a lot of really good things to say and had some different ideas on things that maybe we already thought we knew, which is just always great. But she said a line, and I think this comes from Andy originally, actually, Andy Frisella. But she said a line that was, if you try to be for everyone, you'll be for no one.
Yeah.
And when you really start to break that down, it's like, damn, like that's very, very true. Whether you're a teacher, whether you're a coach, whether you do social media, whether you lead a group of people in some fashion, whether it's a men's group like us, or you're leading a team, leading a classroom, leading a weight room, whatever it is, leading a company, it just... That applies. That applies so much. If you try to be for everyone, you'll be for no one. What does that mean? What does that mean? If you try to cater to every single person that you interact with, that you are leading, that you are coaching, that you are talking to, you're gonna be so all over the place with your points, your information, and your ideas that you're not gonna actually be able to connect to anybody. And then you almost have to remember what you said to each person. It's like, okay, I connected with Jacob on this point, and then I connected with Mitch on this point, then I connected with Will on this one, Wyatt with it. It's just like, not that you're lying, but you have to remember your connection with every single person.
You're essentially being like, what bullshit did I talk with this person?
Yeah.
And like, how did I bullshit this person compared to how do I bullshit this person?
Right.
It's that's not sustainable.
At
all.
And if you just stick to your beliefs and your thoughts and the vibe that you put out, then that's just who you are. And if people jive with it, then they're going to stay around you. They're going to keep coming back. You're going to build a relationship, and then you're just being authentically you. But if you're always switching up your story, switching up your beliefs, switching up your thoughts on things, you're not authentic at all.
Absolutely.
Not at all.
Yeah, and we see that in the business world right now.
Yeah.
You know, because those businesses that actually stand on business, on their values and whatnot, are the ones doing the best right now.
Right.
The ones that are growing the most.
Absolutely.
We see the first forms
look at
growing,
first form.
and S2s. We see even an individual like Ian Smith, who literally kicked the doors down
Oh, yeah.
at his gym.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm opening.
And then locked himself in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm opening. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guess what? How much publicity? How much did he grow? How many people did he get to affect now because he stood on his values?
I didn't know who he was prior to all that.
I didn't
personally.
I didn't either.
Yeah. You know, as far as the bigger names go, like Brad Martin could be another one out in California with his gym, Zoo Culture.
Mm-hmm.
He literally bought generators and he's like, no, we're coming in. I'm turning the lights on and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
Here's the finger for you.
You're going to deal with it.
Yeah.
No, straight up. You're going to deal with it.
Yeah.
Just laughing, but it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And the reason we're saying this, guys, is because those people have stood on their beliefs. Now, I think I sent you this video, but Sports Illustrated just came out and said that they are laying off. Oh, as funny as this is, it's true though.
Yeah.
Okay, so once a year they came out with their Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition.
Yep.
Okay, people look forward to that. Guys look forward to it for
sorry,
obvious reasons.
I'm such a 15-year-old.
I mean, hey though, but like, hey,
we're
we're straight dudes.
Yes.
You know, like
right.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna look.
Yeah.
Like it's attractive women right there. Like I know what you're doing, and like okay, it's part of their thing. It always has been. Okay.
Yep.
Then they introduced their plus size models and all this other stuff. Just like brands like Fabletics has done it.
Yep.
Nike has done it. Gymshark, that was the other one I was looking for. Even Alphalete a little bit, which is just ridiculous to me.
Alphalete's a whole nother conversation.
It is. Yeah. It is. But those companies have all gone to these plus size models and trying to
You're not a plus size guy?
I used to be. Myself, I used to be a plus size person. Okay. Not even on that scale though, if we're being honest.
No.
But
yeah.
And I get it. You want people to buy your stuff, your products. You want them to wear it,
yes.
and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. You know, we want people to buy our training. We want people to listen to the information we give out on the podcast and on social media. I get it from that standpoint. However, Lulu, that's another one.
Lulu,
okay,
yeah, because their CEO stood on it. And
exactly.
Then I think they kicked him out,
and then the board kicked him out of Lululemon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and because he literally was like, "No, like I'm not.
I cater to healthy people."
Exactly,
that's what he said.
Exactly.
Which is true.
Now, when those plus size people or when those out of shape people can then change their life, like First Form will take that person or another speaker at the event today. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling, guys, but one of the other speakers at the event today,
Christopher Baltazar.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
He won the year-long transformation challenge for S2.
Yep.
He lost over 100 pounds, and he said, I didn't know where to go. I walked into an S2 and I asked for help. And then now look at him. I think he said he was like 37% body fat, and then he got well under 10. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He was like 330-something pounds. And
now
then
he's
he was
maintaining muscle,
200.
putting on muscle, cutting it down again. He's on the recomp phase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he saw that he was not in a healthy situation. He changed it, and now look at where he's at. He's up in front of all of us speaking about these things, about being a healthy individual, about living a healthy lifestyle, all the things that we preach, all the things that companies that we support preach.
Yep.
You know? And so when you see these companies flipping, and back to my point about Sports Illustrated, is they're laying off all their employees that have to do with the swimsuit side of it because they've lost money on it.
Making no money. Yeah.
Because they went away from the ideas and the things that they used to do.
Whether or not it's right, whether or not it's moral, whether or not
whether you agree with all these chicks in
things.
bikinis in a magazine or not, it's still just a fact.
Whether or not, their business model was that.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yes.
They did not stand on their morals, their beliefs, or not morals, I guess, but stand on their beliefs or in their business model. They didn't stand on their business model.
Right.
And they took a hit for it.
Right.
Pretty big hit, sounds
because
like.
What's the primary audience of Sports Illustrated? Just in general, not even the swimsuit. It's men.
Dudes.
It's men.
99%
Yeah.
of that. Or maybe 98.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's men. And so you're sports all year long. Then you have one special edition that's a swimsuit edition. I mean, who are you catering to? Men, for sure. And then it gives women also, like the video I sent you was, she was saying for herself, like she looked towards that edition of the magazine as what she wanted to look like.
Well, they were healthy athletes too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't like they were like starving themselves on the Sports Illustrated model. It was like there's professional athletes on there.
Yeah.
Just men and women.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But again, they work for that.
Right.
That's the point.
Yeah.
They work for that. And if you're going to work for your values and you're going to build your value system, staying neutral is just not the way to go.
Right.
It's just because, again, like you said, no matter what, even if you stay neutral, you're going to have people hating.
100%.
You're going to.
You're going to have people from both sides of whatever the argument is.
Bro, I mean, we talked about this example of us here. If you want to talk about staying neutral, we had a comment on a post about leg day. Is that, I mean, what is unneutral about that? Or what's one side or another about that? Hit legs. That doesn't seem really controversial to me.
And then the guy was like, hitting legs
no matter what.
Toxic masculinity.
There you go. Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Who knows? I don't think he had many brain cells, but that's a whole nother story. But the point is that even us on a post that wasn't even controversial, because we have plenty of posts we can post that are controversial from our clips.
Especially compared to that one.
Plenty. Yeah, plenty. So even off of something like that, there's still going to be people bothered by it, no matter what. Even if you and I never talked politics, never discussed the vaccine, never talked COVID, nothing. Right. If we never discussed any of that, we would still have people bitching about something.
We had a guy in our comments on TikTok hating on something Matt Adams said about I think it was the one
about winning. He was talking about winning and like building athletes and whatnot. Yeah.
I was just like, what?
Yep.
Like, dude, you got nothing better to do?
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to our main points here after that long rambling of whatever that was. But it works.
The Jacob special. Yeah. The us special. Yeah. The world pisses us off special, essentially. Right. Yeah. Essentially what it is. Yeah.
So back to the original idea here. If you try to be for everyone, you'll be for no one. Okay. Cool. So how do you fix that?
Let's get into it. Yeah.
Okay. One, you have to know who you are. Okay. You have to know who you are. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it takes some work to figure out truly who you are. Okay. Along with that, you got to know your story. You have to know your story. Each and every single one of us has our own personal story. Sure. Do you and I, do all three of us have plenty of similarities? Without a doubt. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. However, do we also have a lot of differences? Definitely.
Yeah.
We're all athletes, but we come from very different sports.
Yep.
We're all in the weight room and we're all in the gym very, very consistently. However, really all three of us train in different styles with similarities, but you're doing a lot of Zercher squats right now. I'm not. Okay? So there's differences within the similarities. If that makes sense. I don't even know if that's how that would work.
Yeah. No, it does.
Yeah. So know your story for your life, for your fitness journey, your business. I mean, all of it. Know your story and stand to that story. Don't be ashamed of it. Be proud of it. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. Know your story. And with that, with knowing your story, have an understanding and know that there are other people that are going to be able to relate to your story, okay, and understand your story because, again, we have a lot of similarities, and there's a lot that we can relate on. There's a lot we can help each other with, but there's things that, and maybe not so much anymore because we're around each other so much and we do so much together, but there are people that will understand what you're going through. They will understand your story.
No doubt.
They will have ways to help you. You will have ways to help them. There will be learning points from other people because other people have gone through very, very similar, if not the exact same things that you have.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're, for example, an accountant, and that's been what you're really good at, and that's who you followed and whatnot, be the best accountant.
Yeah.
Stick your hat on that. If you're really good at it, hey, I know numbers really well. Okay.
Yeah.
Other people can relate to that.
Absolutely.
Other accountants, other people in finance. There's actually a pretty big niche there if you really think about something like accounting.
Cybersecurity, like Money Mitch.
Cybersecurity, 100%. How many people are in computer science, cybersecurity nowadays? How many people can relate to that?
Right.
Okay, this is how I got to that point.
Exactly.
I took a boot camp or I went to university like Mitch. Different options there.
And then how many people are in the middle of a 100-pound weight loss journey?
Yeah.
So they can listen to a guy like Chris or any number of people that have lost 100 pounds, that have lost 200 pounds, that have lost 300 pounds. There are always people that can learn from your story. So know your story, know who you are, and understand that people will be able to relate to your story.
Love that.
That's definitely it's the number one thing right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that leads us in perfect of the first point there. Yeah. Because what we wanted to talk about second, guys, is for beginners in finding themselves, so to speak. This might be young men. This might be somebody that's 35. Who knows? Yeah. This might be somebody that's 40, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Might be a mom, might be
mom, dad, whatever, whoever. It doesn't matter. This could be anybody that is like, I'm just not sure who I am. I got out of this situation, this bad situation now. I'm like, I have no idea where to go.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to that.
Without a doubt.
That's where I was in June 2020 when we reconnected.
Absolutely.
Like, where the hell am I going?
Me too.
Yeah, I like fitness. That was about it.
Yeah.
That was about it at
Yeah.
that point in time for me. That's all I knew. So where do you go as a beginner? Well, you got to ask yourself a few questions here. What gives you fulfillment? What do you really enjoy doing? And this doesn't mean like, oh, I really enjoy going to the movies. Okay, bro. Like, sure. Like we like a good movie here. That's not what we mean.
Right.
It's like, does helping people give me joy? When I am able to help somebody lose weight, does that give me joy?
Yeah.
When I'm able to complete a successful hack, does that give me joy? A useful skill is what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
That's a big point. What gives you fulfillment? What do you feel like? Again, we're going to go through these questions here. What do you feel like just it feels right when you do it?
Yeah.
And this isn't like some kind of self-care journey or something like that.
No,
I'm not doing some never ever take our stuff like this for Forging Fortitude as like a corny self-care thing. Like go on a trip and find yourself. No. You don't need to travel to Banff National Forest in British Columbia to go find yourself. Right. No. You can find yourself just fine where your feet are at. So we go down the list after that. Define your goals. What do you want in life?
Very clearly.
Very clearly. Do you want to be wealthy? Okay. Well, what does that mean to you? What does wealthy mean to you? Mm-hmm. Do you want to be a 100 millionaire, billionaire? Do you want to be able to just support your family and then set your kids up well in college, in trade school, whatever your kids want to do?
Yeah.
Is that something you want to do? Do you just want to have to worry less about money? Is that your goal of defining goals?
Financially free type thing.
Yeah. And we've broken this down in multiple different episodes. You can go back and listen to Forging Fortitude, but go down that list. Reverse engineer it, make it small. Okay, what gets me to the point where I can worry about less money? Mm-hmm. Is it entrepreneurship? Is it a skill, maybe a boot camp or something like that? Is it going to university? Whatever it is.
Is it entrepreneurship?
Is it entrepreneurship? What exactly? Go down that list, start to break that down, and then start to chase that from there. Then we go on to knowing your demographic.
Mm-hmm. And this might be the biggest part of this.
Might be.
Whole beginner's
Might be.
point
And
here.
it's a little bit complex too, to a certain degree. I'm not particularly, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Knowing your demographic, what does that mean? Knowing what's your niche group. Well, I mean, if you're in training like us, our demographic is often weight loss clients, or it could be athletes.
Yeah.
Or it could be people, like in my scenario where I was at, looking to put on weight.
Yeah.
They start out 170 pounds. A brush of wind could have hit them and broke them in half, essentially. That's where I was at.
6'4".
At 6'4".
170 pounds. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
To put that, I wasn't 5'6", 170 pounds.
Like Mitch.
Yeah.
I swear to God, people think I'm a garden gnome whenever they meet me.
No, it's only because you say it. It's because when we were taking the picture with Will and Wyatt and all them.
What the hell do you expect, Will?
You're like, I'm so small, dude. Yeah.
Will literally looks like a locomotive on wheels. Like, I mean, he walks around, and you might as well just make the choo-choo sound as he walk around.
That is fantastic. A locomotive. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
like that.
He's got to produce at least 5,000 horsepower. I mean, it's just
100%,
unbelievable.
100%.
Yeah, no big deal. That's a former Untapped podcast guest that got mentioned on Real AF. So
I knew you were about to throw that in there. That's comedy.
We made him.
Yeah, but again, Mitch is over here being 5'8", and you and I are over here single, and he's in a successful relationship. So
move right along here.
Moving to the next topic. So apparently height doesn't matter at all. Otherwise, you and I would be doing just fine at this point in time. Yeah.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
I know. You're crying over there. I'm crying right now too.
I mean,
but,
that's just
sorry, guys.
Uncalled for to the maximum level right there.
I'm never gonna find love.
Jerk. Hey, you'll always have me.
It's like Brokeback Mountain.
Okay. Definitely on that note, moving right along here.
But after finding your demographic, okay, what does that mean? Again, this, like I said, if you're a trainer, this is a pretty obvious one. Finding athletes, weight gain clients, weight loss clients. Cool. Moving right on from there.
An example of that, just quick,
go ahead.
Real quick, finding the demographic. Going back to the girl that was speaking today at the event, I think she said she was 29, about to be 30, whatever. But her demographic, her target audience, what she tries to relate to and help is girls in their young 20s. She was like, I'm just a few years ahead of them in the journey, so I can very easily relate to what they're feeling, what they're going through, what they want, the struggles that they have, things like that. So that's just an example of how she found her target audience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean,
and that's part of the reason. I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
That's part of the reason we look towards athletes, because we have that mindset, and we also can look back on our athletic journeys and see where we fell short mentally and physically. And now we can do everything that we can possibly do on our half of that scenario and helping them to get through those things, or maybe even just completely avoid them altogether. And all they have to do is meet us halfway.
Well, and again, another example of what would relate to us as well is training young, busy professionals as well.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like people that are even our age sometimes that are still very busy lives, very hyperactive lives, so to speak. And that relates to people even going into the 30s and 40s for us as well, because we feel like we can relate really well to those people that feel like, I don't really have that much time.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll find you the time. We'll help you find that time.
We also surround ourselves with people in those age ranges too.
Exactly.
JT,
Exactly.
he's just old.
JT is about 53. Give or take.
Right.
Yep.
1,000. We called him King Tut. So, but guys like JT, all jokes aside, guys like JT, Connor, both guests, Will, Jeff Lavecchio, Brock Wilson, Wyatt, all of these guys, and I'm sure there's other ones I'm forgetting, Matt, who we just had on.
Yep.
We surround ourselves with these guys that are, maybe 10 plus years ahead of us in the journey within the same space, and we learn from them.
Yeah.
Learn from them directly.
And we find ways we can help them out too.
Absolutely. It's
huge.
not just a take.
Well, and I think that's a good thing there, because again, so demographic wise, again, if you're in something like an accounting or a cybersecurity, you can find a similar thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to work with large companies and help them with their cybersecurity? That's a good example. Do you want to work individually one-on-one with people with their cybersecurity? Maybe they're a CEO, they need that help.
Yeah, sure.
Or, in the case of accounting, you could use the same logic as we used. Do I want to work with 20-year-olds who really don't understand much about finance and whatnot? Do I want to help them get financially literate?
Or do I want to work with Fortune 500s?
Yeah, exactly. Or somebody who's 60 years old and looking to retire, and I want to help them with their finances.
Yeah.
Boom. There's your niches. There's your demographic. Cool. Start to carve that out.
Yeah.
Then we go to the next point, number 4, out of that second point, is don't try to be exactly like somebody else, because you're never going to be exactly like somebody else. It's already been done, like you've said in the last point. What was a clip I posted of you? It was that life's already been living, or they already lived that life, and it's already been done.
Yeah,
because that's their life.
It was like, don't try to be exactly someone else, because they've already done it.
Yep, 107.
But you can learn from them. And you should learn from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you can't take little tidbits and whatnot. And we'll get into that later in a second.
Right.
But the point is that you are an individual human being. You were made in the image of God as an individual human being. That's a big deal. That's a really cool thing. So that means you have skills you can give in different ways than somebody else might.
Absolutely.
Boom.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. Last one out of that one. You're not scared to try new things, ideas, that type of stuff. Learn.
Right.
This is beginner again.
Right.
This is early in that journey of, again, don't try to please everyone. This is early in that journey. So there's going to be different avenues in your field. Okay, you narrowed it down to accounting, cybersecurity, or fitness. Cool. In one of those 3, you picked one of those 3. Now you work into the point where it's like, okay, is rotational training what I like to do? Do I want to throw that in for a lot of my clients? Okay, cool. If you're in fitness, that's awesome. Interesting. Or, do I want to keep my mind open and consider that barbell back squat can still be used? Do I want to consider that barbell deadlift and barbell bench can still be used, but they don't have to be the exact staple they might have used to have been for hypertrophy, so to speak? That's an option too. If you're in accounting or cybersecurity, don't be afraid to try the newest technologies coming out. That's going to be a big one.
Software
to assist you. I don't mean use AI and then lose your job to AI, essentially, because that's something that's concerning.
Well, I mean,
for sure.
I mean, on that note, like Mitch, what do you think? What do you think on that?
You can
As far
augment yourself.
Do what?
You can augment yourself with those kind of technologies, but you can.
In what ways?
You can use it to maybe review a block of code you wrote, to maybe kind of suggest different ideas, because really AI is just kind of built on just human instructions.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, a lot of people will build out code review AI kind of chat bots, and it's built on maybe this person's coding style who will code differently than you, and you might have a way to have another person's input on how they code, because everyone codes differently, just like everyone trains differently. Everyone's going to have a different way of coding.
Well, and you could learn things like SQL if you don't already know that. You can learn things like R, right? Isn't that another one kind of similar to SQL?
Yeah, those are
I don't know the
kinda
ins and outs of it.
data analytics and stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah, you could break out into there's more niche fields in cybersecurity. Like you have threat hunting. You could be on the red team or the blue team, so you could either be attacking people or defending.
Yeah, it's cool.
Freaking Navy SEALs over here.
You could go in the military to do a lot of my. So I work for a private company, but a lot of them come from a military background in terms of security. A lot of them built out SOC teams for JSOC guys, so security operations centers for JSOC. And they would go and fly into, say, a hot zone and build out the network there because, right, you have to have a network to communicate. You have to communicate to all the tanks and planes and stuff like that. So we have guys
Make sure
like
it's
that.
secure.
So we have guys like that who would fly into this zone and build out that network in, a week.
It's pretty
have
sweet,
it up and
actually.
running.
Yeah, it is.
So, like, you can go private sector, you can go military. It's just you have a lot
You
of
can go
options.
drones
Yeah, because I want to sit in a box and go ahead and shoot.
and shoot innocent civilians.
Yeah.
Like our military.
Abu Akbar.
Abu
Baghdadi.
al-Baghdadi.
Yeah, because I want to go do that.
Shane Gillis. Well, if you haven't watched that, guys, by the way, Shane Gillis and doing a Trump impression on funniest thing you'll ever
It's
see in your life.
hilarious,
It's so funny.
Yeah.
But that kind of covers our beginning aspect of it. And Mitch just gave a great breakdown. But
Yeah.
I want to kind of have closing thoughts on that.
Well, and I have kind of a personal note as far as the don't try to be someone / something you're not. However, don't be scared to try new things, ideas, methods. Like on that last point there, for me personally, it's content. We follow a lot of the similar, bigger content creators like, Anymorph, David Torino, Anthony Pershon. Yeah. I figured out it's Pershon. We've been saying it. Yeah, it's kind of sick. He's one. Wadey Davey is the guy's username, Wade Dave.
is his last name Davey?
Yeah.
Wade Davey? Oh, it's tough.
But,
Cool.
those are just some. Dame Macbeth is another one. I know I'm probably naming people you guys have no idea. If you don't know who those people are, go look them up on Instagram.
Great content as well.
Sick content, mostly fitness related, also like productivity, things
Lifestyle.
like that, lifestyle, yeah. And the more and more I started to see their stuff, I was like, you know what? Like I enjoy watching this. I enjoy seeing a new video from any one of those guys. Kevin Ramirez is another one I couldn't remember. So I was like, I want to do that. I want to start trying to do that. And so I went out and I learned new skills like using Adobe Premiere Pro, which you're as well doing now, and started producing my own content like that, still putting my spin on it and not doing exactly the same thing that those guys are doing because they already have their audience, and I don't want to just become another one of those. Something that's becoming more and more popular is drone shots for content. And I mean, to both of you, I've been talking a lot. It's like, I'm going to get a drone. Like I'm going to get one that I can use successfully for this type of content because that unlocks a whole new level for Merry Mondays, for normal content,
Men's
for
nights.
pictures, for vlogs, for men's nights. I mean, it unlocks a whole new level for my content and for our content, So it's like, why would I not continue to try to learn new ideas, methods, things like that, So in skills obviously would fit in that as well. So, I have something that is very much my own with my Merry Mondays. We got, I think it's 133 coming up this week when this episode is live. I believe it's 133. Sometimes I get lost in my own numbers.
Wild.
It's not good.
No, it's wild, though. It's awesome.
So, that is very much my thing, and it's been extremely consistent, and even those have evolved a ton. And then for my other content, I will see ideas from other people and I will come up with my own way to showcase that. I'll go out in the snow to get content. I'll freeze my ass off and my hands will literally be frozen. But to me, like it's worth it because then I can produce something cool.
It's same as that being outside walking in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is just another form of work.
Yes.
Outside of a weighted vest walk, not a ruck. Sorry, Connor. Almost had that slip there. My bad.
It's a ruck. He doesn't know anything.
Connor's never been in the military.
No.
That was a fake story he sold you guys in the season 3, episode
carry
13.
150 pounds on my back. Wow, cool. How's your back feel? Huh?
Poor
Anyway,
Connor.
that's just a personal example that would fit for myself here. Yeah.
Cool. So let's go third point here.
Yeah.
Third and final point to discuss. A few things we have written out for you guys in the intermediate stage, we like to call it.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we're in that intermediate stage.
Yeah, without a doubt.
3.5 years in total. Built a lot of really cool things so far. Like excitingly, and new things, like I mentioned with the physical vitality stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Super exciting for us. And we feel like we're really starting to narrow things down, starting to really become clear in our vision. Right?
Very much so.
So, and again, like I said, we're not coming to 20 years in business here. So I'm not talking to you guys that are 20 years in business.
No.
I mean, you guys can probably gain great lessons. We can gain great things from you, but that's not our target audience here. Because that wouldn't be fair of us to talk about that.
No.
So, for those of you in the intermediate stage, so to speak, a good example of that is make sure you bring value in some form of the way. Make sure that your content isn't just you attacking other people, like what was going on, or pandering to other people, like what Will had in some of his content we were talking to him about as well. And this lady basically pandering to black men.
Yeah.
Which is super weird, by the way. That's a whole other story.
It is very weird.
Yeah, very odd. But make sure your content is not just arguing with other people. And that's the whole thing. If you're on social media, make sure you're not using cybersecurity to, do anything other than take down the government. Whoa.
That was crazy. Mean to say that, dude? Maybe it's the hat. The hat made you say it.
It was the hat. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely
keep it on.
I love the government. I hate the government. But the point here is, if you're in cybersecurity, obviously don't be robbing people of their money with it, because I'm assuming it'd be pretty easy. With a lot of cybersecurity skills these days.
Or doing weird shit with black market and like porn and kids.
There you go.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Very immoral, dark stuff.
Yes. Use it. Make sure you're bringing value in the way of you're helping people.
Use it for good.
You're helping them with their firewalls and their protection and whatnot. Obviously, I'm speaking in very layman's terms because I don't understand it, other than having a brother that does it.
Yeah. I think take down the government's the perfect way to say it.
That's definitely a bring value one.
Or when you talk about bringing down the government, have someone that can protect you from them not taking your podcast. Yeah. Okay. Definitely need the glasses.
Yep. Go to YouTube.
Yep.
YouTube.
Yep.
But have some help there. Awesome. That's great value to bring. Have protecting somebody's podcast. It's any particular podcast. I'm not sure what we're talking about here, but yeah. But again, that's a good example of bringing value is helping people have secure finances, secure information, that type of stuff, whether it's companies, whether it's people. That's awesome. That's great stuff. Because that's important stuff in how a company runs or protecting somebody's individual information. That's awesome. Yeah. So that's bringing value in a cybersecurity way. Accounting, obviously, that one should be pretty clear. Make sure you're helping your clients, not only, obviously not financial advising, but in the way of like helping protect their money. Yeah. Helping their money earn and gain and showing them the right paths to take, that type of stuff. It's providing value.
Yeah. And then, in our case, it's making sure people get results.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing.
Making sure we bring valuable content on this as well.
Bringing valuable content on this, bringing valuable knowledge and game plans to our clients, things like that. Bringing valuable information on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever. It's just, it's pretty simple. It really is.
The bringing value part isn't that hard. I mean,
it shouldn't be, but and which as you say that, actually, that kind of goes into our next point on this one is I don't know how I want to word this here. You should copy what works, but it's more like copy.
Yes. Yep. In quotations, we're adding around the copy what works.
Exactly.
Because there is the aspect of if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely.
The wheel's been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years now. That's obviously a good example.
And when we were talking before we started recording, just talking about our ideas for this episode and whatnot, it's like, okay, if we just sat here and said the exact same things that Andy Frisella says about current events or about business or whatever, one, our credibility goes down. Two, people would be like, why would I listen to these guys who haven't done a ton yet? They've done some good things and they're very much so headed in the right direction. But why would I listen to them when I can listen to someone that's very established, both in the political realm and the business realm, things like that. That obviously being Andy. Or if we tried to copy and paste Brock Wilson's programs for his clients, it's not going to work out too well.
You're also a scumbag if you do that too.
Well, exactly. And now, granted, you're also a scumbag if you think you invented fitness, because there's a lot of coaches out there that think they're the ones that came up with fitness. Like, bro, you didn't invent the back squat. I was going to tell you right now, you didn't invent the dumbbell curl. You didn't do that. You took that from someone else, just like we did.
That's why I always like the ones that I do, like see somebody else doing. I always like my informational reels. And when I do, I always say like, hey, I saw Wyatt doing this. I saw Brock doing this and whatnot. I saw Jeff doing this.
Yeah.
I always mention that just because it feels right. And then I can add my own spin on that movement too.
Exactly. You might have a different cue that works better for someone than what one of those guys does, or even different than what I would say.
Might have a different take on the usefulness of it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
where to apply it in training and whatnot too.
Because like with the athletes I currently train, when we're doing rotational work with like a med ball or something, like a lateral med ball toss up against the wall, the way I can get them to understand how it should feel, how it should look is like, okay, when you are swinging a bat, this is the exact same motion. Your hips have to get here, your back knee has to get here, your back foot has to get here, your front side, blah, 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 blah. So you relate it to that person. If you were working with baseball players, you may not come up with that way to cue it, to relate to them. Now, you still might have cues that work very well, but you might not be able to relate it to a baseball player, just like I may not be able to relate it to a hockey player.
Sure.
Even though, as we've talked, there are a lot of similarities
our sports
in hockey moves and baseball moves.
Yeah.
Plenty of differences.
It's also fun to train athletes outside your sport too.
Yeah, definitely. Because you can dominate your sport. Like you can dominate training your sport because you know why you're doing it. You know why you have them doing it. All of those things.
The application looks like that type of stuff.
Yes. Yeah. But if we're working with football players, that also causes us to have to learn and become better coaches so that we can be better for them.
Yep.
And
then put them on the field. We stiff arm them. Show them.
Of course.
Show them that baseball and hockey athletes are better.
Obviously.
And then and then that'll teach them a lesson.
Yeah. We Oklahoma them and we win every time. We go 10 for 10. And
10 for 10. It's like 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, come on. Like, let's think this through here.
Yeah. You suck.
Coach, wait.
But I mean, dude, the copy what works point is interesting because there's also the aspect of like, for example, one thing that we've seen that works is like the 15 and 30-minute call format for one-on-one training, setting that up. And that we've seen that with multiple other trainers.
Oh, yeah.
Then we just put our own spin on it.
Absolutely.
Well, not. So we keep the same 15 and 30 minutes. First call is 15 minutes, always get introduction. Then 30 minutes after that is our big information gathering session, break it down for them, that type of stuff. So I like the copying stuff because there is an aspect to that.
Absolutely.
Finance has always been around. Accounting is a really common thing. When it comes to training, really common things that work are online training, but not too many clients.
Right.
You don't want to get into the point where you have 100 clients and then they don't get any attention at all.
Right. Especially online personal training.
Exactly. One-on-one I'm speaking of. Yeah. Now I'm talking about a subscription program that's obviously different.
Sure.
Because you can have like the Facebook groups and whatnot and stuff like that. That adds a lot of value too.
Sounds like some training I've heard about.
Yeah, that's interesting. Could be something we were hinting at earlier in the episode before, but who knows? We'll just see. But yeah, the copy what works point is interesting too because like you said, we literally earlier we talked about don't try to be someone else.
Yeah.
But then we talked about a copy what works. So it's like, okay, guys, it might sound a little confusing.
Yeah.
And again, consider that the copy what works is in the intermediate stage too.
Yes.
Like we said, we're taking things and using them that have already been in play for online training and on even when we do one-on-one, have fun with that and stuff like that, or in person with athletes and all that stuff. We keep things not too complicated.
Yeah.
We don't want to be the newest guy to come up with landmine, internal and external rotation to hip abduction and like all this stuff. See, like again,
just craziness.
Trying to invent fitness, like Wurtz said. Like that's such a good point. Like trainers who try to reinvent fitness is just pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's not that complex.
And there's certainly things that can be made better. There could be more efficient machines for a big gym. Okay. There could be a more efficient way to do pogo jumps or more efficient ways to get better hips, things like that. Okay, without a doubt, like we can certainly progress things. But just because you have 90-90 hinges in your warm up doesn't mean you invented that. And I'm not
join my program, you get the 90-90 hinges.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. You and 800,000 other trainers.
Right, exactly. And it's very important.
Yeah.
Hip mobility, just like Dr. Wyatt talked about. And that's right now, that's a very popular thing, especially on fitness social media. And I don't hate it by any means.
Sure.
But the people that try to come from this like high horse, like, look at the hip mobility routine I came up with.
Yeah.
Okay, you did put it together, but you took this movement from that person, you took that movement from that person, along with 8 other people. Okay, so that's great. That's great because we're all kind of doing that, but just it's like their tone is what bothers me about it.
Yeah. That's why I try to be funny in mine because I'm like it's not that serious, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
you
You're trying to put out good information. That's that.
Just because you're 5'3", 130 pounds and you're a dude and you can move around like you're a ballerina or whatever and you're flexible, okay, bro, sick. I would also pick you up with one hand and smash you on the ground.
Is that the type of dude you're watching?
No, there was an example that popped in my head. I don't remember his exact Instagram name, but that was the type of dude. Like, this dude just naturally had great flexibility and hip mobility and whatnot. But just because somebody can't go into the range of motion, he can, doesn't mean that your hip mobility is trash or your flexibility is trash all around and whatnot. Your stability is off. Like, not how it works.
Right.
Like, again, bro, there's other aspects to fitness. Like, hey, you're essentially a liability.
Yeah.
Like, you weigh 130 pounds and
Must have been watching me.
You're 5'3" now? We just dropped your height?
Was that a roast of yourself?
Yeah.
It was.
He did what I did with Wyatt and got it out of the way.
Can you ride roller coasters?
Wow. That's been a minute since I heard that one.
Knee slapper words. That's what Mitch is over there right now, just pissed. That's just temper tantrum.
He can be angry while we go have fun at Six Flags. And
What is 52 inches? How tall is that? It's like 5'4". Yeah.
Yes. No,
Damn.
no, that's 4'4".
Oh, okay.
4'4". Yeah.
Math.
Yep. 48 inches, 4 foot
4'6".
plus 4. Yeah.
Maybe
4'4".
So I can ride at least
12 times 4.
Yep. 48.
48.
To 52 is 4 plus 4.
Oh, I thought you said
Yeah.
54.
No, because aren't most roller coasters like 52 inches?
I
Isn't
have
that
no
the
idea.
standard?
We're rambling
toss
too much
that,
now. Yeah.
Toss that out the window. Sorry, listeners. Ooh, man. But the point is here is getting back to everything is, again, you're not going to be the newest reinvention guy in any field. Accounting, cybersecurity, fitness, whatever. And again, it just annoys us more because we're trainers. So it pisses us off when we get on a tangent and whatnot naturally. But again, you're not some kind of demigod just because you invent a new form of cybersecurity techniques or whatever, or accounting or fitness techniques or whatever. Because again, as we mentioned, fitness, like, it could just be dog shit. Or in the case of AI, it could just take over the world. Like, it's probably going to eventually. Yeah. And but you think it's a good thing because you're a nerd.
Right.
But going on to the last thing of this third point is making adjustments when necessary. And what does that mean? What does that mean for us individually? I think a good example of that was adjusting literally along the way how we filmed our content.
Mm-hmm. How we continue to
film our content. A lot of, like, for example, a lot of the times, one thing I had trouble with filming at first, and I was just horrible at filming at first in general, was that when I'd film you, I'd have too much of the ceiling in the shot, essentially. Like, it wasn't, I guess it wasn't essentially egregious, but it was a point where, like, it looked like crap. Yeah. So we had to make adjustments to where my filming came down. We were, like, in that square, which sounds simple, sounds really stupid, but it's a good example of that.
It's attention to detail. It's the biggest thing. You know, like, it takes us a long time to set up all these cameras, guys, to set up all these lights and things like that, because it's attention to detail. Exactly. And can we edit things? And of course, but if you can just get it right from the beginning,
saves us
why
a
not
lot
do
of time.
that? Yeah. So it's the biggest thing with that is attention to detail. Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Yeah, and those adjustments, when necessary, also tend to save us time in the long run as well.
Yeah.
Because, again, as we've talked about, when we do end up hiring people for editing aspects, or taking editing off our shoulders in certain ways, then that also is something we understand. We understand that aspect of the business still and whatnot. So we've done it as well. So we're not just preaching to some choir that doesn't hear us at all, because they're like, oh, this is how we're trying to tell an editor how to edit. We don't know how to edit.
Right.
We've never used Premiere Pro before.
Right.
That'd be stupid.
Right.
So,
and then we have a vision for it as well.
Exactly.
And that's, like, when that time comes, I was going to say if, because, like, I love doing that. I know you're starting to fall in love with it too. But when that time comes, that's why the people that are going to be doing that for us are going to have to see our vision for it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's as simple as that. Colin Clough, who owns VFS, like, he'll come to me and he's like, hey, what are your ideas here? Because he knows that I can see his vision for things. You know what I mean? And it may not be the exact same vision, but I at least can get into his head in different ways and be like, yeah, actually, I see exactly what you're talking about with this or with that, or, I think this piece of clothing or this type of clothing or whatever might do better than that one. And so we can have a discussion like that, Mm-hmm. And so that's just another example of that. And I also think you'll know it's time to make an adjustment when it continually isn't working. If you keep beating that dead horse and nothing's changing.
Or trying to, put in a screw with a hammer.
Right.
Like we've talked about in past episodes as well.
Exactly. Yeah. That's when you'll have your indication that, okay, I have to change something. I got to make an adjustment here. I got to go a different way. And so if that is being shown to you continually, like, don't ignore that. Don't ignore that. If you continue to post on social media and you get 23 views consistent, and you have, 700 followers, okay, clearly an adjustment is needed here.
Yep.
Maybe you need to try out some new hashtags. It could be as simple as that.
Yep.
The girl today said it's not going to make or break your content. I agree and I disagree to a certain point because I've seen success with it, but I've also seen sometimes where maybe it didn't really matter.
It didn't make much of a difference.
So
sure.
I don't think anyone really knows with hashtags. That's why I max it out because why not?
Yeah, it's funny because those of you that are on social media as well, I mean, Murph's a great follow, the Daily Murph on Instagram, because he literally talked about that exact thing. He's like, Instagram, we're pretty sure changes up their algorithm every 2 days.
It seems like it.
Yeah, essentially that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure their people are literally tweaking it every single chance they get.
Sure.
So really consistency is the number one thing with that.
Exactly.
Than anything else. Because I mean, I've seen after 3 months success of getting into the thousands of views on my videos and whatnot, which is kind of cool. And more interaction, stuff like that. And even with the podcast, we're starting to get more and more views on there too.
Absolutely.
Helps with you guys sharing the show. That's a big deal, especially the last one. And what do you know? It took off because people shared the show.
Still taking
still
off.
buzzing, which is awesome. Can't thank Wyatt enough for that. But yeah, I mean, like it's the adjustment thing is basically increasing efficiency because like if you're like again. Like I said, with the hammer, with the screw, I mean, you're going to get the screw in eventually, but it's going to take probably 30 minutes longer than it would with the nail, which in that case is a small example.
Or a screwdriver, you mean.
Or a screwdriver with a screwdriver. So it's just things like that. Like, could our growth have been decent, I guess, if we just had one camera angle? Maybe.
Sure.
If we kept providing enough content over and over, but it probably would have taken 5 more years.
Yeah. Or maybe even a better example with the one mic in between us.
That's a great example.
Could we have had, bigger people like Dr. Wyatt, not physically bigger, but I just mean like more well-known people like a Dr. Wyatt, like a Matt Adams, like a Jeff LeVecchio. Like, could we have gone to Jeff's home gym with one mic and successfully pulled that off? Maybe. But how much better is it going to be if we upgrade our equipment and have, individual mics and we have multiple cameras and then we can bring that type of a piece of content to you guys.
Yes.
Exactly. Every time we bring a guest to our studio, they always freak out about it because like it looks good. It looks
home base.
Professional.
HQ, baby.
They see their own chair with their own mic. They see ours, they see all the lights, they see all the cameras, they see Mitch's big producer over here or
Roadcaster.
The Roadcaster, yeah. So all of these things that it's like, oh wow, it's not just a couple guys in a basement talking,
Yeah.
It looks pretty badass.
Yeah, it does. Untapped HQ.
That's what I'm saying, and we're going to have a building 16 times First Form's HQ, 16 times bigger, I should say.
Yeah, First Form.
Yeah.
We'll show you.
Yeah. It's going to be like
totally competing with you guys.
It'd be like 100 million square feet or something like that.
If we're talking math, it probably actually would be, which is insane.
It's a damn Amazon warehouse.
Yeah.
Well, I think First Forms might be as big or bigger than Amazon's right now.
Yeah, because they're next door.
I'm pretty sure it's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, which is wild. But
Amazon's also a globalist fruity company, so that's a whole nother conversation.
Sure, they definitely go to the
First
Fruitcake
Form's
Festival.
based. So the Fruitcake Festival, yeah. Little farmer's market.
Yeah. Farmers markets are cool.
They are.
Good meat, good vegetables, good fruits there. I'm serious. It's good stuff.
No, they are. It's just funny.
The Fruitcake Festival, like, it's a little different.
Rural farmers markets, question mark?
Rural farmers markets.
Huge farmers markets advocates.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Local food.
Yes. So, anyway, to recap the intermediate, make sure to bring value. Copy what works.
Copy.
Again, quotations there.
Quotations.
Copy what works and make adjustments when necessary. It's the biggest things there.
Yeah.
We are in the midst of doing all of those things. Honestly, like real talk, we're probably somewhere in between the beginner and intermediate in different aspects of our business, of our lives, of our content, whether that's individually or together. We're probably realistically somewhere, we're not completely green beginners, But we also aren't, these great, moguls,
yeah.
Mongol. We're not moguls of English either.
I mean, Mongols would be kind of cool. They had a great empire, so technically it works for us. Mongols, we have a huge empire. Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I'm going back. I'm going to go take a college English class.
That's it. Yeah. 3 credits. Just cool.
And that'll be $900. Okay, never mind.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cheap option.
Anyway. Yeah. We are not moguls of social media, of business, of podcasting. However, we are on our way.
Yep.
We are on our way.
100%.
So, anyway, guys, that's going to be the main content here, the main portion of the episode. Now, it's been a couple episodes, but at the end of most of our episodes that are not guest episodes, Money Mitch will ask us a Q&A question that is brought to you guys, the viewers or the listeners. Those can be submitted a few different ways. So, first, and probably our number one choice of how you send these to us, is DM them to us on Instagram at untapped.llp. Okay, you can DM them to us there. You can DM them to us individually as well. You can email them to us, extricationfitness@gmail.com. I know it's a mouthful. That's why there's an email button in our Instagram bio. Makes it very, very easy. Mm-hmm. 2 other ways here. You can leave them in the comments on our Instagram posts. We typically post anywhere from 3 to 5 clips for each episode throughout the week of our newest episode. We post them on Instagram and TikTok, actually. Mm-hmm. So you can leave them in the comments there or leave them in the comments on our YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed already, please go to our YouTube channel, like, comment, subscribe, hit the big 3 there, okay?
Boom.
So we get all the questions. We give them to Money Mitch. He then chooses one that either fits right into the episode or sometimes they're funny or just a question that one of you listeners or viewers has. So without further ado, Money Mitch.
How to create impact, not just noise, but like actual positive, actionable impact. So you're not just blasting out stuff nonstop all day long, and that's quote unquote impacting people. But how do we make content, do stuff in life that creates actionable impact that will change society?
Yeah, I like that.
That's a great question. I think a good example close to home for us, and I love bringing him up, Will Bates. Good example of that is that he Will Be Inspired, the charity, does great work for veterans, law enforcement, giving them free gym memberships. And at the same time, he speaks on political or current event issues. And sometimes that can be clickbaity and whatnot. But Will does a great job of breaking it down, and I think giving a clear, logical perspective on it, especially from a black man.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. And that's a great example of that. A great example for us is creating impact is those breaking news episodes we do and whatnot. We don't come on here and just be like, oh, look at this, and that's it.
Right.
And again, when the time comes that we're so big that we're getting offers from shitty companies that don't hold our values and whatnot, that try to dictate what we say about that, we will not accept those offers.
Right.
So that's another good example of it on our end.
As far as that goes, really any of our episodes. Like that's why we started the podcast.
Exactly.
It wasn't, just to say we have a podcast. It wasn't just to have anybody on or anything like that. Like and the people we do have on, we don't have them on just to say we did. We didn't bring Matt Adams on to say we had a big leaguer on. No.
Yeah. If you listen to his episode, it was unbelievable.
It was phenomenal.
That's why we had him on.
Exactly. And
the value he brought.
I've gotten to know him over the past year. You've gotten to know him here very recently, and you quickly found out, as did I. It's like, this guy is actually just a really cool guy.
Stud.
Like he's really you put the professional baseball side of him away, and it's like, this is just a cool guy. He's got cool thoughts. He's got good things to say. He's very focused on his life and his family and what he's trying to do. And like people can relate to that. Then you bring in the professional baseball player, the big leaguer, a very well-known name here in St. Louis, and it's like, I'm going to listen to this. It brings value. That's the biggest thing. It'll impact people, and a guy like that, because we do have a portion of our audience that is younger, like 20 or under, some of them still playing sports, like they hear a guy like that talking about how meaningful and how important hard work is, and be like, wow, he's 35, 36, whatever he is. He's still in the cage hitting 4 times a week. I'm too tired, and I'm 17 years old to go hit once a week. What's that going to say?
Yeah.
Here's a guy trying to earn his way back into the big leagues, and you're a guy in high school that's too tired to go hit even once a week. You know? Like, I get it. You're in high school. Sometimes things happen. Okay.
You're a guy that's too tired to work on your craft after 5 o'clock.
Right.
What you want to do after 5 o'clock.
You want to have a good physique, but you're not willing to work for it.
Yep.
You know? So anyway, like, that's another example of how our podcast does that. I think one, and maybe you're going this direction with your next point, but our men's nights. You know?
In-person impact.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and
about
like
being a man. Yeah.
Like you say in the intro, we do not come to those guys as, all right, guys, we're above you. You have to listen to what we say. Like, that would be asinine. But when we have our meetings, not like our more fun nights, like activity nights where we go play football and things like that, which is just as important, we believe.
Continue to cultivate competitiveness.
Yes, because there's a whole lot of men's groups in the areas. We've been to multiple others that don't do things like that. That's an example of how we copy what works, but we put our own spin on it. Okay, so that's exactly how that fits into those points that we talked about. But like you just said, to continue to get that competitive edge out in a fun way. It's not like we're out there hitting each other on the football field.
Well,
you know, you did run over one of our poor younger guys.
No, that was Connor.
It was Connor.
Yeah,
my bad.
You're good. Yeah, Connor just trucked through. Oh,
but,
man.
You know, it's still are we talking shit to each other and having fun? Absolutely.
100%.
That's what us guys do.
Anybody who says that's not the case, that shit talk is somehow like toxic masculinity, go back to your comic books.
Yeah, or come out to one of our meetings and tell me you're not going to laugh and have fun and smile.
Exactly.
You know, so not only that, but then when we have our meetings, we come up with a general idea for the discussion, and we give our thoughts, and we kind of lead into the discussion. But then it's very much an open discussion about whatever that topic is for that night. You know,
it's not robotic.
And you and I also look to the older guys in the group, like the JTs and the Connors, who are consistently showing up for us and helping us, and in ways leading us as well. You know,
absolutely.
We look to those guys for different perspectives, because then we have guys that are 18 years old that are in the exact same group who have a different perspective or can learn from them. You know, so I think that is especially our biggest way that we cultivate that impact that the question's asking about, you know? And then I think last thing for me anyway here, personally, is if we're going to train people, if we're going to coach people, we have to be able to do the movements that we ask them to do. We have to be able to follow a diet like we're going to ask them to do. We have to, and it's, you know, as we've talked to our clients, both prospect clients and current clients, you know, we don't get down to this strict diet. Hey, you have to eat this at this time, eat this at that time, or else. Like, no. Here's a group of food. Pick 3 or 4 things that you like. Okay, now we're going to go to work and we're going to advise you on that. You know, we're not nutritionists, so we're not going to write down direct plans, but we can give advice. But basically, my overarching point there is personally, like, we have to live the life that we are trying to preach to those people. And if we can't do that, we are frauds.
Yep. Yeah, great way to say it. You know, and I want to say off that too. Again, we don't do much of this, but one-on-one training is still open. We haven't talked about it much, but if you're looking for one-on-one training, even if you want to have a conversation with us over that 15 or 30-minute call, we're open for it. So you guys let us know on that. That's something we're not coming to you as some kind of salesman or something like that. That's just not our style, really. We're coming to provide value. If you want to talk about it, cool.
Right. And get your results.
Because that's going to happen for sure.
Right.
If both of us cover our back ends of it, we're going to take care of it. And we cover our 50%, they cover their 50%, it's going to happen.
Exactly.
Results are going to happen.
And I think also the way we're structuring our training is we're also using and relying on our connections. We're not scared to go tell people to go to S2. And one, if we have specific supplements that maybe we want them to start taking or whatever, then okay, that makes it simple enough. But we're not scared to tell them, like, hey, go into S2, ask about different things that might work for gut health, things like that. Or, okay, you're not taking a multivitamin right now. I think that would be really good for you. Go into S2, ask them about their different multivitamins that they have to offer.
Yeah.
And whatever one fits best for you financially or what you need best or whatever. So we're not scared to also use our connections, because we would be ridiculous to not do that, you know?
To keep everything like close to our chest,
or
so to speak.
You have to go to Walmart to get your test boosters. Okay. Well, I can guarantee you they're not going to work.
Or they're going to give you cancer.
Yeah, literally.
Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Or we would almost be unethical in a way to send them to a grocery store like that or to a Walmart. Be like, yeah, get that protein that's there. When
they're not going to be dosed properly either.
When we know damn well that the products that we not only use, but that we believe in, that something like an S2 carries, it doesn't even have to be First Form, as much as we talk about them, as much as we do use First Form, but there's other products that we believe in. We would almost be out of bounds to not suggest those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knowing that those products are going to be better than the cheaper ones. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Some of those are going to be more expensive, but you're paying for quality.
It's like the people who buy like the $30 bag of 120 servings of protein and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then they're like, dude, you know, I took a shit 4 times yesterday because of this. It's like, no, duh.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I wonder why your
That's
stomach's
crazy.
blown up because of that. I could have told you that one.
Right.
I would have talked to you
Right.
about that.
Mitch is just struggling over there.
Poop is so funny, bro.
I mean, come on, dude.
What were you about to say? Go ahead.
I'm just dying laughing thinking about all the horror stories of the mass gainers that gym bros have known the year.
A 1,200 calorie scoop.
Dude, that just sounds miserable. I'm so glad that when I started taking supplements that I knew exactly what to look for. And like, holy cow, 1,200 calories. Like that literally still exists.
Chug it down in 30 seconds too in the shaker bottle. And you're just pounding 1,200 calories in 30 seconds. Oh, man. Yeah, my gut's not been feeling great lately.
Yeah,
really.
I always feel bloated after I drink my protein shake. It might have something to do with putting down over 1,000 calories in about 30 seconds. Yeah, it might have something to do with that.
I don't know. I might be crazy.
Yeah,
we might be nuts for thinking that.
That would be like eating 3 or 4 pieces of pizza in 30 seconds. Like, it's the same idea.
Just inhaling them, vacuuming them up straight up. Just that's a great analogy because it's like, bro,
yeah,
it's pretty obvious why it's bothered. This is why we even say this is why we don't like gatekeep the fact that we like S2 in First Form, even though they're not paying us money or whatever, because the fact that we don't want you to go to the Walmart brands and all that stuff because they're gonna screw you up
just because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trust me.
Again, we have an understanding that
cheaper isn't always better.
No, not when it comes to things that you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. You know, can you get away with cheaper like multivitamins and things like that? Okay, there's some. But if you're talking a protein or any number of supplements, a pre-workout, things like that, I mean, some of the cheap pre-workouts that are out there, they are not helping you with your workout.
You want to talk about heart palpitations?
Heart palpitations. I mean, you're going to be unfocused. You're just going to feel jittery.
You feel anxious as hell after the workout.
Yes, yeah. And it's like, I get it. It was $25 for 40 servings at Walgreens. Because that's a real thing.
I know.
It's like, I get it. I get it. And it's not your fault because maybe you just don't know. But here is why I'm telling you to maybe buy the $50 one that's maybe 30 servings.
Uh-huh.
I get it. It's more expensive. You're getting less servings. However, if you want your lifts and your workouts to be that much better, like, this is the route to go. You know? So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Providing value.
Really, really good question right there. Those are just a few examples of how we cultivate that impact through the podcast, through our business, through our men's nights, and then personally as well. But, guys, that's going to be episode 109. Really, really solid episode. If you try to be for everyone, you will be for no one. It's overarching idea there. I do apologize that we rambled like 3 or 4 times there about some random things, but that's what you get here.
The rambling's hilarious, though.
It is funny. Yes.
And again, if you don't have a sense of humor, you're on the wrong podcast.
Yeah,
I'll be completely honest with you.
Exactly.
Because we're also bringing value, but it's also like we're humans.
Yeah.
We're 3 25 and under dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know what you expect.
Yeah.
Like, we laugh at shit jokes and stuff like that.
And
like,
we're 3 6'2" and under dudes as well. You and I are 6'2" or over, and then he's under.
That's kind of a weird way to phrase that.
Yeah, I was trying to be funny. It just didn't work.
Chirp, chirp, chirp.
Yeah. Damn.
Whew. tough hit for the end of the episode there.
All right, guys. Final note, as always, please share the show. Okay, share it to your Instagram stories. If you listen or if you watch on YouTube, take a picture of your screen, put that on your Instagram stories, on your Facebook stories, text it to your friends and family. Talk to people about it, okay?
Yep.
Again, the Dr. White episode has been going nuts.
Because everybody was talking to each other about it.
And that is because everyone, even today at the S2 event, you had walked away, Gable, but Mitch and I had a lady come up to us, introduce herself, and was like, I'm a big fan of your podcast. I heard about it from Dr. Wyatt, and it's just like, that is awesome. I mean, Mitch and I, we stood there for a second, and it's just like, I'm getting goosebumps right now. It was like, that is so cool. That is so cool. So, guys, please share the show, share the Instagram Reels if you enjoy it, if you get something out of it. If you don't get something out of it, which I find hard to believe, then by all means, don't share it, okay? But we purposely pick the clips that we do to give out value, give out information, maybe give out a laugh. So we just ask that you please share the content that we put out. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it really, really does a lot of good for us. So keep that up, guys. And until next time, peace and love.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Got too little time,